Everyone, welcome back to Out of Band, a Microsoft security podcast. I'm Andrew O'Young, a modern work specialist at Dicker Data, but also a Microsoft security MVP in Intune.
Hi all, I'm Shehan. I'm a Microsoft MVP as well in security and architect in identity and endpoints.
And I'm Anthony Porter, a cloud security architect at Canon Business Services, specializing in the Defender and Intune space. Thanks for coming back once again after another awesome episode of, our crew, by myself, off to, the MVP Summit in Redmond. So we'll get into, a bit more of that a little bit later. But as we do, let's start off with what's new. So obviously, we're now, end of March, start of April. So we're in the split of what is new. I guess me focusing on the Entra space is that effective from April 1st, 2025, the Entra Permissions Management end of sale and retirement was announced. So that MEPM will no longer be available for sale to new enterprise agreement or direct customers. And then additionally, starting from May 1st, it won't be available for sale to new CSP customers. The reason why this is the case is that Microsoft have announced that they've partnered with Delinea to provide an alternative solution of privileged control for cloud entitlement. So that offers a very similar capability to provide the Entra permissions management capability. Also, just on that, they also announced the conditional access reauthentication policy. So that's a new feature associated to conditional access, which is essentially the ability to require reauthentication every time. And it can be used for different scenarios that you want to refresh the authentication. So this could be for such things like a VPN or every time a PIM is enabled, for example.
Cool. I think talking about Entra, I got something new as well. So Entra, including Intune. So that's the Windows Labs. So Windows Labs got some new enhancements in the March 2025 update for Intune. That's of course connected back to Entra ID. So a couple of new features or options in the settings for that policy. So right now you can create a new admin account if you want to, like a custom account. If you don't want to use the standard administrator account, you still got that option. But the good option is you can have an account that randomizes the username every time when the password gets reset. So that's something new. So you can add numbers into it. It will randomize the numbers as they want to. And another good thing that I saw in the whole Labs enhancement, the account is now protected from tampering. So you can't rename the account that you're setting, or you can't delete the account. So that's something really good. I'll just read out the options that's available right now. Or going before that, the password has got, now the passphrases are there. So you got long and short passphrases if you want to add. So that now it's the the operating system is now supporting for that as well. So some the features that came in, so pretty much automatic account management enabled. So once you enable that, you can say, how do you want to set up the username. You can give a prefix, so it will add the prefix and the random numbers each time it resets. And also, ask you to randomize the name, and also automatic account management target as well. So you can target your built-in administrator account, or you can create the new account, as I mentioned. Passphrase length, 6 words, starting from minimum 6 words up to 10 words. So that's something new, good if you want to have a longer password for the account. So what this is available for, that's basically for Windows 11 24H2. Everything is in the actual document for Labs, Windows Labs. So I also wrote about the same and did some playing around with the features as well. Yeah, so that's Windows Labs. I think most of the IT administrators are happy because they don't need to create a username. If they want to go with a custom username, they can use the inbuilt features now.
I guess just adding to that, previously when you wanted to kind of make any adjustments or changes to local administrator groups, it would essentially need to be an additional account protection policy where you would edit the local group itself. And then on top of that, you'd need almost a settings catalog as well to make name changes, which obviously wouldn't be randomized either.
Correct.
So everybody across the board would get the same renamed local administrator account. So through
And
obscurity, it's a
yeah,
good move.
just one more thing before I think we move on. So this is available for the GPOs as well. So you can set the same thing by using 2025 server. And yeah, so that's available in that one as well. Similarly.
What's happening in the AI space, Andrew?
Yeah, no, I thought they were. Let you finish there, all right? Well, yeah, agents, and more agents, as we found out in the last couple of weeks, even while we were in Redmond. So, I think one of the ones that were announced before we even went, there was the new sales agent. So it sits alongside that Copilot for Sales piece you got there. So you got sales chat, and then you've got an agent that sits there that helps you turns your contacts into qualified leads and opportunities and so on to push that pipeline. So, yeah, essentially you're a little sales agent, the assistant to help you out there. Um, I guess the next ones they've released for M365 Copilot. There's the researcher and the analyst. So researcher, it kind of takes that next step. So you've got interactions with Copilot now where you've asked it questions around, oh, tell me about this, and it goes and it brings back those URLs, bits and pieces really quickly, but researcher will spend that extra 30 seconds, 1 minute or more to go through and actually do further analysis and research with the new improved OpenAI models there. So you can have this go off, do a whole bunch of research while you're doing other work, and it comes back to you, and you're ready to just yoink and start using that. So I think the examples they've got is creating a detailed go-to-market strategy based on the context of all your work and all the broader competitive data on the web. So that's a lot of information for one AI or one person to even do. So the agent doing that is pretty amazing. And the analyst one is it's like having a data scientist working alongside, so they can do a whole bunch of processing of raw data to insights in a matter of minutes, whereas it could take us a bit more time than that. But so those are the ones that are alongside the ones that are probably more exciting for us in the security space. And I might share my screen in a moment for this. Uh, bear with me. Where's my screen? Ah, there it is. All right, and that should be coming through now. I hope. And I hope it doesn't mess with your template there.
No.
So yeah, Security Copilot has got a bunch of agents now added to it. So Microsoft have provided 5 out-of-the-box ones, particularly the phishing triage agent in Microsoft Defender. So for the Defender for Office 365 piece, there's alert triaging agents in Microsoft Purview to triage the data loss prevention and insider risk alerts that you may have. There's a conditional access optimization agent. So if you've already been using Security Copilot, you'd know that there's an embedded Copilot experience across Entra, Purview, and Intune. So the agents will sit in those embedded experiences to provide you the quicker support and analysis over your configurations and so on. And speaking of Intune, there is vulnerability remediation agent there. So you're able to monitor and prioritize any vulnerabilities and then remediation tasks to address any gaps in your apps and policy configurations. And lastly, there's threat intelligence briefing agent in Security Copilot. So that's going to curate all the relevant and timely threat intelligence based on your organization's unique attributes and the exposure to any cyber threats out there. And at the same time, there are partners out there who have created their own agents to then kind of work with Security Copilot. And just quickly, briefly go over them. So there's privacy breach response, network supervisor, SecOps tooling, alert triage, and task optimizer. So they each do their own kind of thing, and they've come from these reputable partners. So you know that they've been vetted properly, and they're going to give you that extra value and your investments in Security Copilot.
Yeah, I
Don't
think
know.
talking about the security co-pilot, just quickly want to add, I've just started like a small project, learning as well as sharing the knowledge at the same time. It's pretty much about simplifying the security co-pilot. So it's more like a blog series that I am running. So I can probably share my screen, Andrew, if that's okay.
Sure.
Cool.
I'll just take it back after.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Can you see the screen or?
Yeah.
I've got multiple streams or yeah.
Oh, there. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So it's pretty much I want to discuss about security co-pilot and the same thing that Andrew mentioned as well, the agents and how we can use those agents proactively in our day-to-day security sort of stuff, and also early adopters from third parties that can connect to the same co-pilot experience. So I want to chunk it out to make sure the person who is reading grasps the full information, not everything at once, but pretty much let's get started. How to what's Copilot, and basically what's the billing scenario, how the billing works in Copilot security, and then basically uh, what you the use cases of that, and agents coming into the scene as well. So yeah, so that's me working on the Copilot stuff right now. Over to you, Andrew.
Cool. I'll restream. I don't know. We may have just broken Anthony's
Not at,
release.
not at all.
No, it actually worked. Cool. Well, I guess that sums up the what's new so far in the last couple of weeks, and I think the topic of this episode was to kind of reflect on Shahan and I's time in the US, and if I progress the slide there, so we took a few snaps. There's actually a lot more, and this was just like the slides from our user group last week, and we just kind of like quickly threw together some of the images. There are some that probably not the best angles, and some that we obviously not allowed to show because everything's under non-disclosure agreements over there during the summit. So um, just a few of them. So we made it. We got to meet some of our renowned, I guess, other MVPs or regional directors. So yeah, if you recognize Christian Buckley in the top right there, he's been around for a while, and he actually interviews new MVPs. So a bit of luck, Anto. You might get the award. You might get to spend the morning with Christian.
At 2
As he
a.m.
No, it wasn't too bad. And yeah, we got to meet Clippy, albeit with some extra limbs. And yeah, I guess bottom right, if you've ever tuned into Microsoft Mechanics, having a mental blank. Jeremy
Jeremy.
Chapman. Yes. Yeah, Jeremy Chapman on the second from the right, and yeah, that's Pete Rising in the middle. So you can't miss him with the luscious white locks he has. And I will just keep progressing the slides if you don't want to add anything, Sean. But man, we made it. The keynote. We actually met some other MVPs and the community program manager at our Sydney stop. So there's no direct flights from Adelaide yet. They actually announced there's going to be direct flights end of this year. So hopefully next time we go, we don't have to do the extra stop in Sydney or Brisbane, which does add to the added pain of us being 14 hours away from the States anyway. So yeah. We got to visit the sign, the new sign, the old sign, and the abstract art sign. I don't know if we have a picture of that one.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, other MVPs. I got to meet Carolina Gatimu, so she's heavily in that adoption space. If you've tuned into the M365 Champions call, she's all over that. And I guess bottom right. So that's where we start going to, I guess, the other bits of Microsoft. So we always see it's all about corporate and applications, Office, Azure, and all that. But there's a lot more stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And the campus is massive. It's like a village, essentially. And there's well, I actually know how many buildings they have, but we were getting pretty lost going between buildings 30s to 90s to 80s, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of buildings there, and there's one just dedicated to Xbox stuff, like, and there's these machines to test the I guess durability of buttons on a controller and stuff like that. That picture in the bottom right, that's actually from a separate studio, and we're inside of a anechoic chamber, so there's no echoes in there, so everything just sounds just blunt in terms of the sound, and you start to you start to hear like more things. So like one of the people was saying, if you're in there for long enough, you can hear her and pulse through your ears, which is kind of terrifying. Elizabeth, the CPM, she was saying, "Oh, I've got tinnitus going on," so all she could hear was the loud sound in her ears. But yeah, that's like the one we were in there, and that photo was not as isolated. So the one over at the Xbox side, they actually have it's like a room inside of a room, completely separate, so there's no vibrations happening. And yeah, I guess the point of having these rooms is to be able to measure the sound emissions from a device. So say an Xbox or a Surface laptop, there's put in the middle there, all these microphones pointing at it, and they can kind of detect how much sound is being emitted. And I think is it Germany is where they've got these really high standards of the audio thresholds and stuff. So I had to return a whole bunch of Xboxes because they were too noisy, but they were fine everywhere around the world. So they learned from that. So, oh yeah, okay. So let's re-engineer this bit. So that's why that room is useful. And I think was there. This one was part of the whole research building, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. You got
Yeah.
another part where you go and you go with the concept. Doesn't have to be a Microsoft employee. You go with the concept, but now they only take those stuff along that goes along with AI. So that room has got everything you need. Pretty much printers, cutters, 3D printers worth of I don't know how many millions of dollars.
Uh,
But pretty much, yeah, pretty much you go ahead with your concept and they will help you to build you a prototype.
hmm.
So they are helping schools right now and also individuals as well. So that's something exciting. So it's pretty much everything that you want to build your first prototype is just right there in that room.
Yeah, and it's like things like hackathons and so on. That's where the schools come in.
Yeah,
There was another site, another building. It was the garage. Similar kind of thing where anyone can go in and start building their own concept. But I believe the research place we were in was a bit more intense in terms of what they could do, and it's all backed by Azure for the data analytics and the information that they're generating from those things. I think one of the products the tour guide was talking about was a air quality sensor, and they
yeah,
3D printed this leaf essentially, and all considerations were taken into rainwater flowing off of it, heat transfer or conduction of heat depending on the color of the printed.
insect. Yeah,
Yeah, preventing insects from getting in, and of course there's going to be theft because they're going, oh, we'll keep it at like human height level because that's where we care about the air quality more than up on top of the building. So they partner with like the bus shelter company where they got the signage and all that. So they just attached it to that. And obviously they were going to get stolen. So I think they deployed about 180 or something.
yeah,
Maybe 20, 30 of them got stolen, but they had enough to bring together the analytical data that they needed to complete their tests there. So really
yeah.
cool stuff. Um,
And
uh,
also, we got our Intune jackets. If you can see the khaki color, so
Yeah,
that's Intune jacket.
there's a close up there on the bottom right. That's a bit clearer.
And
There's
the
a
new
new
logo
Intune icon, not
icon,
logo, icon. Yes,
icon,
and I
which
don't
is
know if
coming
it's
out. Yeah,
GA yet. We've been told it is or it isn't.
I've
We've
seen.
seen
I,
them post. It's
Yeah.
been
that's in
posted. Yeah.
yeah, it's in the message center now. Yeah, so
All right. Cool. Yeah. And obviously we met a whole bunch of the Intune category as well. Um, yeah, because I'm not sure because I'm purely Intune, so you were there because your dual category includes Intune. So there's a bunch of other
yeah,
security MVPs in the mix
yeah,
because they're dual in Intune as well. So we had people from see the IAM, other cloud security. There weren't many Purview people from what I saw.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I think I met one of them at the security mixer. But yeah, there aren't that many overall around the world. So which is kind of kind of strange.
Fascinating.
Um, we got to finally find our names on the name wall, which is always nice.
On my one as well.
Yeah, very high up on the wall, so I'm almost falling over to get that photo done.
Almost too short to be able to reach up into the A's.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We might have to give you a leg up next year if you can make it.
yeah. You and me as well.
um, yeah. Unfortunately for those on the edges, the names will get wrapped around to the other side. So our
Oh,
friend Daniel Brown, he's split across the right and the left side.
oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it was real or someone had a screenshot, but I think one of the names was like Gmail test or something. So I don't know if that made it onto the actual print, but I think in the image file version of it there is. Um, and yeah, well, like I said, there's so many Intune MVPs we met. A lot of them come from Holland. There were
Yeah.
a lot of Dutchmen in the room. Um,
A lot of endpoint management happens there, obviously.
yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
And how many do we have in Australia? Like, it's just
I think
it's
uh,
three.
only 3 or 4.
So there's 13
There are
in
lots of
security,
yeah,
and
lots of security, but not a lot of Intune only or
So there's,
Intune
there's us, there's us two, and then there's Jose who's in
Jose.
Sydney, and I'm not sure who else there is.
Think yeah,
And
probably
I think at the
probably
same time, it's just as many Purview people in Australia.
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess for those who aren't aware, you can go to the Microsoft Find an MVP portal, and it is
Mhm.
I guess, an open database in which you can select from locations, from specific
Categories, tech
categories,
areas.
tech areas, and whatnot. So if you are interested
Mm.
in who your local MVPs are, you might want to connect with them on LinkedIn, or find out what they're doing, what they're up to, support the others in your area. 100% I'd be recommending going to the Find an MVP portal. I was going to make mention that the Clippy that you've seen many a times, when I saw that on my phone, I thought it was like a baby's crib that they had just modified. Like, one of those like move, like those like very small
There's bassinets.
Yeah, I was like, someone's
Yeah,
just modified a bassinet, and then obviously after looking at it over and over and over, I realized that there is a person in there, and it like,
yeah,
yeah, it was something that I just was not prepared to. For some reason in my head, I was like, that can't be a person. That has to be a baby's bassinet. And I was very glad to find out that somebody wasn't just carrying around a
yeah,
bassinet, because
No, no, no.
that's a bit of commitment. But
Yeah,
no more commitment than walking around in a Clippy suit. So
yeah.
uh,
So the Elizabeth, the community program manager, she was actually
that was
wearing the suit on I think day 2 or 3 or wherever
yeah.
it was. Day one, I think another guy had it, and that was
Mhm.
over at the visitor center for our network security mixer. Was it Christian? No, the other Christian.
I think so. Yeah,
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 yeah. So he was wearing out the front. We
yeah,
were
yeah,
taking
yeah.
photos at the old Microsoft sign.
Um,
Um,
by the way, we got 5 MVPs for Intune
oh,
category in Australia. Yeah,
yeah, right.
yeah. Jose, Benoit, you, me, and Manish from Melbourne, I think.
All right.
Yeah,
We should probably connect.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um,
collaboration makes the Intune go
yeah.
round.
Well,
I was
but yeah,
I think one of the main things, if I just remove the whole NDA thing aside, like this is not NDA, but we discussed, or like we were glad to be there to talk with the product leaders, to help them shape the product in a way, and also provide direct feedback to what we've seen in the products, good or bad, or in the middle, whatever. So that will in return will help the whole world in a way. So I feel like being there was one of the good things, and also providing feedback again, to shape a product that everyone uses around the world is it's
yeah.
probably a very fortunate thing as well.
And I think because we're all like both sides of the coin, we're under NDA. The Microsoft staff and the product managers, they are going to be candid as well with us, so we can be as straight to the point as we need to be, just to convey,
Yeah,
this is bad, or this is how we should be doing this, and what's going on with this, why is this happening, and so you get that direct conduit, just to say, hey, let's improve things, or let's do it this way, and sometimes, um, some of those changes take time, and other times, like same day, like maybe a matter of hours. So we had like a change in one of the teams channels or something, and it got approved within a few hours, and that doesn't happen normally in a large organization like Microsoft. So having enough, you know, waiting behind our thoughts and being able to connect with the community or the product people to make it happen is extremely powerful. And I think like we often overlook that part of being an MVP is we're supposed to be out there, forefront. Yes, we're evangelizing all these products, but we're also there to shape the product as it evolves. Um, yeah, and I just want to say, like, I finally met Mark Cashman in person. I'm pretty stoked about that. In the top right there. Mm,
I was going to make mention to the shaping the product. I think if you didn't have the ability to shape the product, you probably wouldn't advocate for it as much as or as you guys do. I think the idea is that you support the direction that this technology is going, and that's why you guys do the things you do. Is because you believe, and you also have an impactful say on the direction that these things are progressing.
yeah, 100%.
just realized I'm sharing the actual screen, so I should be able to pull up more photos as we talk. Um, I mean, we did get there a bit earlier. We got there on the Friday. Well, we left on the Friday morning, so early. We got there around midday-ish, and because we bumped into some friendly people on the on the flight over, we had a bit of an intimate tour around the campus. So we got to see the infamous tree houses that they have on the campus, and just getting our bearings because it's such a large place. Like being able to know which directions. Yeah, even day 2, 3, I was still getting confused which one was actually east or west because you get off the light rail and you come out, you're like,
Looking for the
Yeah,
sun.
so yeah,
really
and there
long.
was no sun because there was so much fog everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Bit of
long bridge
Silent Hill.
connects the inside and the west side of the campus. It's every time it's getting confused where to walk and where's the building is at. Luckily, there was like shuttle services that roam around the campus every time. Just have to book from the building that you are in, and the shuttle will come within few minutes, which was like a very good thing, positive thing that I saw. Yeah, otherwise it would be really hard to just move from one building to the other. Walking, yeah.
Oh, I just realized that the other photo I had in here was it was just us at the Space Needle with those dodgy backgrounds.
Yeah, yeah,
But I gotta get around to it. I'm gonna put all the photos up on a blog and just have them sectioned out to which day we're doing what. But yeah, because we got there early, we did have some time to look
yeah,
around Seattle city itself. And because we were staying in Bellevue, which is in between Seattle and Redmond. So yeah, it was good to get there earlier and spend some time before going and spending 4 solid days at
yeah,
the campus. Um, and yeah, and then it's the painful part of making our way back.
Another
On
long
this.
couple of flights.
Yeah, I mean, I caught up some movies. I think I watched like 8 overall, there and back, so it was good. Considering it was only the 14-hour legs of both flights that we could watch movies. So yeah, it's
Were they good movies though?
yeah, yeah, there's some good ones. I mean, what was it called? It was Heretic with Hugh Grant. It was Gladiator 2 with our favorite actor. Um, I forget his name. Damn.
Must be a good
yeah.
one.
Pablo? It's not Pablo, is it? The
Yeah,
the Mandalorian guy and Last of Us and every other show
yeah,
out there, right? Yeah, yeah. So he was in that.
yeah.
Watch Transformers 1. Yeah.
Oh, nice. The old
Pedro
classics.
Pascal.
Nah, it's a new animated film with is it Chris Hemsworth
Wait,
and Scarlett
there
Johansson.
is a Transformers 1 now?
Yeah, yeah,
What,
it's
Yeah,
CGI
what,
sort
what
of a backstory on how Optimus and what's his
yeah.
name
they take a
Transformers.
or origin story kind of thing.
they take a
Yeah.
leaf from Microsoft and go from 360 to 1, or I don't know. Look, I'm starting to sense something, but
Yeah, yeah.
uh, but no, I was just gonna say my recent flight I went to and from Sydney, and the flight back I watched two movies, one of which I just cannot remember what I watched like at all. It's just evaporated from my mind completely. It's uh yeah, I do not remember at all what it was, but I know it was an okay movie, but must have just been pretty tired.
Mhm, mhm.
So this was the first time you've both been to Redmond, Seattle, and whatnot.
To
And
Um,
the US.
America.
oh,
Yeah,
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 Mm,
that's true.
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I guess both being Aussies and whatnot. What is your what's your takeaway from just even just being in another country that's you know I guess but yeah, just a
It's
completely different country.
yeah, it's
Mm,
okay. I mean, politics aside, it's another country. Like always, good experiences, new experiences. I didn't like the fact that we had to forcibly asking for a tip every time, even before the actual service is done,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
food and
true.
coffee and everything.
because
So
it's bad. Yeah, the exchange rate's bad enough as it is, and then it's like here are these extra service fees, a tip,
yeah,
and then you swipe away, you're having a good time, and then you look in your bank account, it's like, "Oh, what happened there? Like, why is it like almost double what we we thought we were
yeah,
spending?" So it's not a great time to be going over the spend because everything's just yeah, the cost of living is wild, and yeah,
yeah.
it
It's
stacks
always
on.
exciting to go to a new country, another country,
Mm,
experience their
yeah.
lifestyle, everything. Yeah, so it was exciting, all in all.
Mm. I mean, this was like our first time going to the Pacific Northwest, and it's it, things are similar in some respects. Some are different. The scale of things, like everything's bigger. Streets feel bigger, even in like the empty city we are staying in. And obviously the food, some of the serving or of the portions are quite generous. And everything's measured in ounces over there. And it's sure enough, like yeah, I can convert a fluid ounce to a
Yeah,
mils over here and stuff. But you start going into we've got pints, they got pints, but then it's like, oh, here's a 20-ounce vessel,
yeah,
and here's a 30-ounce vessel. It's like, that
yeah.
is way too big for a coffee.
I gotta
And
be at Microsoft tomorrow. What are you doing?
no,
Yeah. And I was waiting to have my flat white in Australia as soon as I came in. It's
yeah, the
yeah,
coffee over there ain't quite the same.
yeah,
Oh,
I guess
seriously?
some of the Starbucks had some all right. When the one
yeah,
in SeaTac Airport was pretty good. That last one I had. The rest were it was either a combination of the grind not being that great or the milk was high, ultra high temp treated stuff,
Yeah.
and it tastes a bit
but
Burnt.
different.
talk about
Um,
Starbucks. Yeah, we saw the world's first Starbucks, which was
Eh?
actually in a place called the Pike Street Market,
yeah,
Pike Place Market.
Pikes Place Market. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so
Is
it's
it?
a market
yeah.
area, and they
Mm,
had a small nook with the Starbucks logo, with the classic old logo,
mm,
and the Starbucks written Starbucks, in like in boards, something like that.
yeah,
So it's only takeaway, but they're like a long lineup to
yeah.
go in
It's
the
yeah.
place as well.
Just like some
Um,
of the food places next to it as well. There's always lineups, and
yeah,
but just the
yeah,
smaller shops you can fit on the street, but they're so
yeah,
popular.
yeah,
We also went to the Starbucks roastery there as well.
yeah.
That was a nice experience. We were a bit late that day, so to do the tastings or the tour or anything. We got to try some of their cocktails,
Yeah,
old fashioned made
coffee
with
infused.
cold
Yeah,
brew, and that was actually
Well, that would have
pretty
been
nice.
interesting.
Yeah, it was really nice. Unfortunately, we were only able to get one drink because closing time for them anyway. Yeah, I was trying to think what else we sampled.
Do you think that it was like a culture shock, or do you think it was pretty easy to
Yeah, it
just
wasn't.
figure
It
out
was.
that
Yeah,
it's just like, oh yeah, that makes sense, and then you just pay the additional tip
yeah,
or so?
yeah. I mean, it wasn't too much of a culture shock.
Yeah,
No, maybe some inconveniences, but the rest of it was, just like any other Western country where you go and it's like
yeah.
everybody's like cool and chill and
Same protocol. Yeah,
What was the
yeah.
public transport like?
good actually. Because we foolishly we caught an Uber twice on the second day we were there, and that's racked up real quick. Yeah, especially before the exchange rate. But
Oh, of
public transport is really
course.
handy. Like it's like a $6 day pass on either bus or rail service, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah. You
one way is $3, and it's like that's so much better than paying $60 US for Uber drive.
yeah.
Yeah, I was
One
gonna
way.
say, is it not like flat fee like it is, or is it just based on kilometer or time, or is it?
No, I don't know. I assume it's the same kind of
Sure.
approach, but it is flat fee. So it seems like it's more expensive over there, and then exchange rates and all that. So
Yeah,
That's true.
when
That's
we
true.
discovered, hey, we can catch the light rail, and like, yeah, I'm glad we figured that out because it
and
would have been really
also
spicy.
not to mention paying taking the wrong tickets.
Ah, yes. So
Yeah,
make sure you buy the right
Oh,
vehicle type.
yeah. I
Yeah.
took that. I bought the train tickets from the
So,
machine where we
so
had to take
yeah,
the light rail
the one rail when we were getting onto monorail,
on a rail. Sorry.
which was between downtown Seattle to the where all the landmarks are, with the Space Needle, the Museum of Pop Culture, and all that stuff.
oh, that'd
Yeah,
have been
Seattle
alright.
Um,
Center. Yeah.
yeah, Shehan had a great time at Mopop,
Oh yeah.
crashing over Jimi Hendrix's broken guitars and stuff.
Yeah,
True.
Pop Culture Museum. So I knew that Nirvana was from Seattle. So they had all the first setup of Nirvana, the guitars that they smashed, Dave Grohl's drum kit, it's pretty much all the other guitars, the stuff that they written, the original text, the original artifacts. The cassettes, the original photos, T-shirts, and everything. So it was like, yeah, perfect for a metalhead or grunge music lover. Yeah,
Yeah, I think if you ever get a chance to go with family, I'd say it's worth doing the multiple attractions because it's a lot more,
mm,
cost effective, I guess, to do it
yeah.
that way. But I mean, we didn't even get to see other things. Like there's obviously an aquarium there. There's a science center. There's the Chihui
Chikuli, yeah,
Botanic Garden that they have over there, which is meant to be tenfold the one we have here in Adelaide.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, so it's yeah, stuff you don't know, you don't know. But when you find out, you're like, ah, okay. But it's always next time. Hopefully, there's next time, right?
I was gonna say you guys were also lucky enough to pick up your MVP awards in person, right?
Yeah, well, they printed out the certificates for us, and these ones actually have the date that we were, I
mm,
guess, where we received the notification that we got into it. And I'm just going to compare the printout. Oops. Yeah, so they say different things. Like that just says security as the category, and whereas what they made us print off of Credly was security MVP, and then the year
yeah,
number on it. I just broke one of the birds off that Lego. Uh,
yeah. Mine, yeah. I had the enterprise mobility written in my first one, where Intune was in the enterprise mobility. Now that there's no more enterprise
mm.
mobility. Now it's security and the actual award date. Yeah,
Oh, it was just says security now as well. Yeah.
yeah, security. Yeah,
So I wonder if you are different categories, it would be security, comma M365, for example. That would be how
yeah,
they do it.
probably. Yeah, I think so.
Mm.
Yeah,
The different tech areas.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, what that be different categories that
Oh,
they don't
sorry. Yeah,
show you tech areas on there. That'd be too much text to put on.
that's a
yeah,
good point.
yeah.
um, just to rub salt in the wound. We also got these shirts in. I don't know if you can see it all. And at
I don't
Summit,
know.
yeah, Shahan lost his like 10 minutes after getting it. I don't know how he
Yeah,
managed.
just literally after 10 minutes.
What? What'd
I
you
don't know how he did it.
did you
Like,
put it
we went to the
down?
we
Or?
went to the toilets like after getting them, and I don't know. He must have sit in there and
Yeah,
hung it onto the coat rack, and then got we got back
I
to the
could say that.
hotel, and he's like,
Yeah, I lost something, but I didn't realize what it is. And now when we came to the hotel room, and yeah, it was not there. I went back. I checked. They said, yeah, can't issue another one. So yeah,
and
Some
meanwhile there's like a mountain of shirts just sitting there.
yes, they did literally printing over there. They had a printing machine
Yeah,
and a guy
printing
who's
press. Yeah,
printing the
pretty
t-shirt.
cool. Like
oh
you could get
jeez.
like a t-shirt or a tote bag with the
Tote bag.
pattern
Yeah, I got my
onto it.
tote bag. So yeah,
Um,
100%
meetup over
shirt.
there.
Nah, there's
yeah,
just
so, yeah.
someone walking around there with like 20 shirts. They're like, haha, this is. Sharon's like, where's my shirt? Some guy's like, I have no idea, mate. He's.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, his stall set up a MVP shirts, $100 each.
Someone will buy
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
Lots of
oh,
swag. Lots of
what's
swag
how
everywhere.
after the exchange rate, it's probably close enough to it.
I saw
Yeah.
someone printed a bunch of the 3D printed like
Yeah,
clippies. And
that's
did you
so
guys
cool.
get any?
Nah, so
Ah,
they
they
were
would
on
have
different
gone so
different
quickly.
building areas and
Of
stuff.
course.
Yeah.
So we on our pre-day we were like, up here somewhere, and everyone else is down at the main
Mm.
convention center like area. And so they were handing out all the goodies, the legacy MVP badges and stuff like that. I was like,
Yeah.
God
Our
damn
pre-day was very
it.
structured, like round tables and
Yeah,
stuff with
yeah.
leaders
I
for
think all the other areas had round tables and similar things, but they were in
mm,
just different buildings that obviously they had access
school
to the
buildings.
people that brought those things.
Yeah.
Uh, I guess that's a nice thing. They gave us the plans to these things, but if you don't have a
Yeah.
3D printer, it's going to be hard to
Mm.
pull it off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and looking at the research place, like surely they could have just spun these out so quickly for us.
I got a
Oh yeah,
The old clippy.
printed chili,
you got a Clippy, and there's the Intune
in
icon.
tune
Oh, that's
icon.
so cool.
Yeah.
So they printed that out at the 3D.
Nah, so
Oh,
the
this one was
Intune product manager gave it to us.
yeah, product
True.
manager gave us, and I was just roaming around in the store, and I met another MVP. I haven't seen him, so I just had a quick chat. Hello, how are you going, and all. And after the chat, he was like, "Yeah, you can keep this one. This one is for you." I said, "Yeah, okay, thank you."
We'll
So,
take that.
We'll take
someone,
any Clippy swag there.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, someone
Somebody
made
gets to go home with the clippy suit.
yeah,
I'm taking this person sits behind them in meetings. That's the ultimate prize is that clippy outfit for sure.
yeah, yeah.
So they did announce that the next is the end of March 2026, I believe. Was it 25th, 26th of March?
It
All
would be
same dates, right?
yeah, or 24 to 26, I think.
Yeah,
So it's the Tuesday,
close enough.
Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah,
No, so
Yeah, and then they announced it at the end of the opening keynote rather than there's no closing note. So I guess
mm,
you wouldn't know if you didn't hang around. And obviously people would have left
yeah,
before it, but I think that it got posted on the socials after anyway.
yeah.
So if they're
yeah.
posting it, it's not on the NDA. So
Yeah, no, it was
yeah,
through the MVP
Give-
Summit LinkedIn that was
Oh yeah,
announced. So
yeah,
yeah.
these aren't.
I mean, it gives you a chance to book in it well in advance for hopefully better rates.
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. What is it?
but
12 months out, you're all good. Like all good. 9 months, it starts to like exponentially increase.
what are people saying? Like, I was saying some places are just exorbitant, and otherwise there was like Airbnbs and stuff. You could,
One. Yeah, yeah.
mm,
It went up like very quickly near Seattle area. Yeah, because
mm.
they know that this is happening like every year. Lots of people coming around the
But
world.
there's always conferences going on there, like
Yeah.
because
Oh yeah.
so they
Yeah.
kind of expected. I think when they extend the two rail, which is the one that goes from Redmond to Bellevue, that goes all the way to Seattle. That'd be super convenient because
Yeah.
then
Redmond Tech. Yeah, the last
mm,
stop. Yeah.
yeah, that top left picture there, that's the Bellevue Brewing Company, and I like my craft beers, and yeah,
I've been
we
there
got
for a couple
yes,
of days.
we got some taste of West Coast IPA, the real West Coast IPA, not Perth. Sorry, it's Anto.
Oh
As,
man,
as much as I
no.
love Pirate Life,
That's
but yeah, it was pretty
isn't
good.
isn't Pirate Life South Australia?
There's one in Perth as well.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so Perth did their own brews. There's one in South Melbourne, but Adelaide I think is the primary one that happened first. So there are recipes that come from Perth and vice versa. But when you see breweries say, "Oh, West Coast IPA," you're like, "Which West Coast?" Right. So I think they're pointing to the Pacific Northwest, West Coast, or something. But yeah, that place was pretty good. We looked at the one in Seattle, and it looked very small from where we were looking, so I wasn't sure if we were at the right place or not. But we'll never know until we go back. But this one was pretty good. Pity it was raining, because the outdoor would have been nice to sit at. But yeah,
And
Seattle
Jonas,
is wet
uh,
and cold and wet, and there was even
yeah,
a warning, like tornado warning and hail
yeah, warning, yeah, yeah.
on like the hottest day we were there. And so yeah, but yeah, you were saying that's Jonas.
Jonas from EM plus S. Um, do we have
Oop,
no,
did I just drop out? No, that was the
ah,
screen
we're
share
here.
dying. The Microsoft EMS community. That's where I
Yeah,
think Jonas lives on Discord. So we'll drop that in the show notes and have a gander if you're interested in that.
definitely another good community to tap onto. Lots of good stuff happening there.
It's where all
Um,
those
They have the
Dutchmen are.
yeah, yeah,
they
and
have
also
they have the
they have their own
showcase,
podcast
right?
as well.
Oh, Betsy's in there. Betsy
Hmm.
Weber for Microsoft. And Hijeet and Merrill. Yes, of course.
That's they do a like a monthly showcase, right? Where they get
Correct.
a like
Yeah.
a MVP or a tech
Mm.
enthusiast to go and demonstrate something or show something they've done or
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
100% it's definitely one of
Mhm.
the discords to be in for sure.
yeah.
I guess you guys better, sort out your renewals for your MVP so you can make sure that you're there in 2026.
Yeah, well, I think they extended it generously to, I think, Monday, knowingly because a bunch of MVPs are traveling to the summit. So they've gone, oh, we'll give you an extra 2 weeks, but also because there were technical issues for some people trying to access the platform to begin with. But overall, it's not too bad. I think we've submitted provisionally what we have and go in and modify and whatever else we need to. But I think there's only so much you can actually put in there. I mean, there's always more, but yeah, I think with what we've done in the past year, it's a fair bit of work. And of course, it's from 1st of April to the end of March each cycle. So well, that's if you once you get in. So if you're applying for the first time, like you have, Anto, it's whatever it is up until that point, and
Yeah,
then you're cool until the next year's renewal, and then you.
that makes
It's pretty much
sense.
1 year's worth of solid work. That's what they always say when they're
Yeah.
applying, getting nominated for the first time. And then the renewals, of course, you don't have to worry about the timing because it basically caps out for you, and it, it will not go beyond that specific year. So
Mm.
you'll be fine with
So
that.
yeah, all your events that you're speaking at, all your posts or whatever it may be you're doing, so long as they fall within that year period, it counts for that renewal session, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
cat's out the bag. I did get nominated. I don't think we were telling anybody via these channels,
ah,
but
uh,
I did get
we just
nominated.
assumed.
Yeah, we just
We don't know, but from by whom though, or you should,
I
right?
do, yeah, of course,
Yeah,
yeah.
it tells. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think yeah, I didn't want to I guess be like I got nominated and
Yeah.
then either you know find out that
Mm.
I wasn't successful and whatnot. I think the idea is if I wasn't successful, I'd probably still talk about it, but
Yeah.
For
I
sure.
they definitely
That-
do,
yeah,
and I think for like myself included, like some of us, the first time's not going to be successful. Maybe you're
yeah.
not quite as impactful as you can be optimally, and yeah,
Do what you do. No change there. Just
mm,
make the right impact as you do. So, um, second time's charm for you.
yeah, as I said, I believe I will find out at the end of this month. And yeah, I think the idea was that it would have been a pretty cool like oh by the way, but I think
mm,
I think uh, that the impact that I've made, I believe, at least within Perth itself, I believe has been pretty impactful. I've been able to, yeah, as you said, do some presentations, which have been, quite well received. I've been asked to come back and do some more presentations, which is, I'm all for. I think I have a lot of that knowledge to spread and all that kind of thing. So, yeah, it's just, waiting that 3-month period to find out whether you got the tick or the cross. But regardless, I'll continue doing what I'm doing, regardless of.
Yeah, I think we just got to remember that us being in SA and WA, we've got a smaller community but a high impact, I guess. Whereas versus like the eastern states, there's so many people that actually come along to things, and
Yeah.
just as many people pushing out that content. And I'm hoping, and I'm sure that the product group people and the community people see that in us, that we're doing our darndest in what we have
Yeah.
work with.
As I said,
Definitely.
But like what we're doing now, this is global scale, right? Like anyone can just tune into the podcast and read
Yeah.
our blogs and stuff. So it's not just user group and presentations. So we've got reach.
Yeah.
Right, hear that? We got rich. No, no, look. I think regardless is that as we would all do the things that we are doing right now, regardless of like everybody started doing what they were doing without the intent of that being the award or goal in mind. So I think just being identified is just one of those milestones on the way of the journey. So to be honest, a goal of mine was to speak publicly. I think that in the past, if you asked me start of 2024, for example, do you want to do some public speaking? I would probably have just cowered in a corner. And I think in that, it's also just not just in the technology side of things, but it's putting yourself out there to try and make a difference or try and help someone. And to be completely honest, is that I think being asked to come back because of the presentation and how successful it was, that go again, different topic. That's a reward in itself. So furiously putting together a PowerPoint presentation for the next one. Which
and I think I've helped a little as well in terms of extending an invite for you to present remotely at our user group in the last
absolutely.
year or so. So making you present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think putting a hard deadline on, you will be on a video call right now, and I'm like, okay, we better have something, otherwise it's going to be an awkward 15 minutes. But
Yeah, and same as like Shehan, I was like, hey, come on,
Yeah.
please, clutching straws with presenters, right? But
Yeah.
also now that I've got you on board as a co-host, it's we've got consistency and
Yeah. There was a time where I really didn't consider speaking at all. So that's when I actually started writing, and then I got the invitation from Andrew, and even then I was like, is it for me, or can I talk in front of people? Will I be hesitant to do something like that, or nervous? But I thought maybe I'll just do that anyway. So I feel like I can go again. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the same like for all the attendees. It's like if you want to speak about anything, like come on, like come to the user group, showcase something you've done, or if you really want to, you can come onto the podcast and we can talk about whatever. Yeah,
absolutely.
um,
Once again,
preferably security and Microsoft related, but anything.
we'll swing it to be security and Microsoft related. Don't sweat it. Yeah.
But it's like any opportunity for to speak, I guess, and present. That's you get practice, right? If you're not, then it's not going to get any better. And I guess with the way everything's gone, like find video calls and stuff, and people consuming videos, you kind of need to be talking. It's not just you can't just have here's a blog, read 10 pages of this, right? People want something that's a bit more instant gratification style. I think Shahan's shorts on
Yeah.
LinkedIn, like just we know
Right.
how our attention spans are, pretty bad as it is. Now we self-diagnose ourselves having ADHD, right? So yeah, quick and simple. That's good. Remember that.
And I think it's one of those situations where it's only your first time once. Once I think everybody in these spaces who have done it for the first time and overcome that, I don't know if it's fear or overcome the nervousness behind it, is you realize that everybody's just out to try and do the best job they can. And
Don't forget the excitement, because you can often confuse nerves with excitement, and it's usually is both.
that's for sure. You're trying to
Yeah.
sip water and you're like, oh god, is this water shaking? Who put my water on the
Yeah.
Roomba in the office? No. But no, I guess yeah, I do appreciate the platform that the both of you have essentially provided the community, especially in South Australia. As you said, South Australia and Perth isn't, I guess, as big. I think our Perth security group is probably we have 30 to 50 members attend, which is a pretty good turnout. Like I think in comparison, because given these are outside of business hours, often on weeknights, people have families and all that kind of thing. I think an average turnout of 30 odd people is quite interesting. But I think the push to promote or show or display something, I think we in Perth, we essentially say, like, if you are proud that you've done something with the security focus, just anonymize the user or the outcome or the company that you did it for and come tell us about it, right? We want the war stories. We want the what worked, what didn't, because in the end we're all trying to do the same job. And
Well, that's the whole
sometimes
point. Yeah, the whole point of a user group is you're sharing what you've encountered as either the admin or the user, right? And like, we all started writing blogs because we've encountered some awful situation that we've had to try and resolve, and we've written down this is what we did to get around it or fix it, right? So it's the same kind of thing.
what
Different
worked, what
medium.
didn't. Yeah, what
Yeah.
worked, what didn't,
Mm.
what blew
Yeah.
up your what blew up your
Yeah.
DC.
How did you lock yourself out of your tenant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
There's
so close to doing
always,
that.
there's always
Brand
someone.
new tenant too.
Oh no.
Just delete it and get another one, right?
There's always someone somewhere who needs that sort of a support. Might have done the same thing or going through the same sort of issues right now. So yeah, the first thing that they go to the internet, right? So Google, to see what's going on. Can I get some help? So if keeping that in mind, if we can do something and just write whenever or talk whenever that we find something new, and if we solve something, I think that will really help in a global level. Yeah, even if
Well,
we.
that's the cycle, right? So if you once upon a time you were that person going online searching for
Yeah.
something and you found, oh, here's the answer from this person. Now you're that person providing the answer. You kind of, you're contributing back.
I'm still the person who Googles the.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think we get past that. That's
No.
just.
It's cyclic.
Yeah. I sometimes get my blog post coming up on top. I was like, oh, this is something I've written a couple of years ago. Let me read about
this guy.
it.
Oh god, it's EMS route
Yeah,
again. No.
yeah, true story.
This guy.
Uh, just on the user group, one of the things that the Perth security user group has been talking about is that when there isn't necessarily like a presentation or a speaker that has a presentation, almost like a panel setup where you just have a set of professionals within the space that all of them kind of dabble in everything, and even if it's just like, come tell us your problems, tell us your what what's not going well for you, what's going well for you, and even just like a Q&A session, right? I've got this problem, what do you guys reckon? It's literally the process of Googling just in person, where you could probably get the information that you want more, factual, custom to your requirement, through a general chit chat. It also gives you that platform in which, like, obviously the first person to speak up is the bravest of them all, but I think it's the idea that everybody's got their own challenges and battles, and having like that user group of people to essentially express that not everything is going well in this space, I've got these problems, what do you think I should tackle, or what's the low hanging fruit, or the quick win, or the that's something that I think what the Perth user group is starting to
Yeah.
consider as like a alternative to presentations, where
Mm.
uh,
That's more of a, I guess, a roundtable format, right?
yeah,
Because you just get everyone just come together and just talk. Right?
absolutely.
It's not even like a formal panel, right? Because if you panel, you got select people who are coming to talk, right? Whereas the roundtable, everybody's in. I mean, I suppose that could work. I mean, we do have empty slots coming up, and the second half of the year. So maybe we can make one of them like a
Yeah,
roundtable thing just around
good idea. Yeah.
anything to do with Windows slash server slash security slash purview slash copilot slash everything.
I think it's one of
Yeah.
those situations where collectively a lot of people have done a lot of things, and if it was, advised as to this just being an open board session, um, rather than coming in learning something, it could be like a come and achieve, or some help someone else, I think, is the
Yeah,
other.
very
Yeah,
interactive.
Yeah,
It will be very interactive.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we
absolutely.
could always run something like let's do a applied skills session, kind of thing. Maybe might be a little bit longer, like a 3 hour session. So you've got time to talk about the topic first, and then everybody starts their assessment. They get that 2 hour piece, and then
Oh, true, of
yay!
course. Of course, you
Um,
could essentially just be like, here, everybody, we're going to do applied skills. We're going to do this one. Let's talk about these are the 5 tasks that it says we're going to have to
mm,
do. Let's discuss them, and then
yeah, and I think that's one of the activity types in the contributions thing. I forget what it's called, but it's not a workshop. It's a uh, I
Not
think yeah, I think it's like a format we can actually do. So maybe we
oh,
could
yeah,
right,
we could
yeah,
do that actually. Yeah,
yeah.
there you
we
go.
just have to. Yeah.
Out
See,
in,
this is why we need this open format, right? To brainstorm.
Yeah.
look,
If
sounds like
only we were doing it with some AI could take notes for us, right? This is going straight into stream, and I'm turning on cap.
yeah. I'm pushing it in now. It's going straight
Yeah.
in. Thanks, Clip Champ. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, transcription and then Copilot. Um, cool. Well, I think we've we were going to go short again, but I think we've gone over an hour now. So, yeah, no, thanks again, everyone, for tuning in to us. Our banter about everything we do as part of being who we are, and always bringing you the latest news and topics in Microsoft security. So I guess stay tuned. I think we may have an author guest speaker next time, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, again, catch us on the usual channels, and again, see you then.